Good morning, everybody. It is your daily crypto news for Monday, January 15th, 2024. My name is Matt, and we're going to do something a little bit different today. In October of 2022, professional cypherpunk and co-founder and CTO at Casa, Jameson Lopp, he wrote a piece. It's entitled, San Francisco 2033. You will own nothing and be happy. So wherever you're listening to this podcast today, enjoy one possible vision of the future as described by Jameson. Welcome to San Francisco 2033, where universal basic income and FedGov surveillance pervade and Bitcoin is outlawed. Good morning. I'm gently awoken by my smartwatch's soothing female voice. It's a bit robotic, but it does have a touch of personality and charm. Today is Monday, October 31st, 2033, it continues. Your weekly basic income of $3,432 has been deposited into your account. $1,049 was withheld to pay your student loan. $2,300 was withheld to pay your landlord, Blackstone Hathaway. Shit, that's more than last week. There must have been another inflation adjustment. I slide out of my subterranean pod on the outskirts of San Francisco. The cabal of venture capital firms has successfully staved off any efforts to build high-rise housing, so there's nowhere left to go but down. Why do I still live in this hellhole? Because I can't afford to escape the confines of the safety net that allows me to survive. In a former life, I was a copywriter for the San Francisco Chronicle, but such jobs have long been replaced by AI. The Chronicle has become a glorified propaganda mouthpiece for the government. FedGov says that we must seek employment. FedGov will pay you to work for it. FedGov sets the floor on your income so that we all can have basic standards of living. Lo and behold, FedGov also sets the ceiling of your income so that you cannot escape your place in their grand scheme. The Fed is your friend. The Fed feeds you. The Fed cares. I don my base model eyeglasses. They're so cheap that they're made out of standard glass instead of Gorilla Glass. Everyone wears some sort of eyeglasses. Though white-collar folks, they often upgrade to eye contacts, where the one percenters opt for permanent ocular implants, colloquially called eyes. Each model works on the same premise. It overlays your vision with information from the internet so that wherever you are, you can learn more about your surroundings. I begrudgingly begin my trek to the dingy coffee shop on Turk Street, where freelance gigs are sometimes available. Everywhere I look, my view is augmented with advertisements floating in space. Thankfully, FedGov mandates that eyeglass can't exceed 50% opacity due to the safety issues it can cause. But obstructions can get quite annoying. I wish I could afford an ad blocker upgrade, but the ads subsidize the cost of the glasses. I decide to multitask while walking and catch up on the news. Not from the FedGov mouthpieces, of course, but I put together a lot of independent journalists to follow on Twitter. I myself don't tweet anymore, however. It's too risky. While we still have the First Amendment protections, that just means I can't be imprisoned for my tweets. Disseminating controversial opinions would get me booted from a variety of services. For example, while we do have the right to universal basic income, we don't have the right to a Fed account. And without one, it's a huge pain to actually receive payments. And an even worse potential outcome would be Apple shutting off my eyeglasses. That would be tantamount to crippling me by chopping off one of my limbs. After scrolling only a dozen tweets deep into my timeline, I find myself physically falling forward. My instincts take over, and I catch myself on my knees and palms. As pain shoots through my body, my first thoughts are relief that my eyeglasses are undamaged. I look over and see a homeless person laying across the path, wrapped in tattered blankets. Normally, I'll give the man an earful for obstructing this right away, but he's clearly zoned out, deep in the metaverse to escape the reality of the situation. I chuckle as I recall the early pro-UBI propaganda that claimed it would solve homelessness. Those folks must have not heard the phrase, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. For some, the open streets are preferable to the claustrophobia-inducing pods. I continue on my way, making a note to find some replacement pants. In general, my clothes are getting a bit tattered. It's been years since I've been able to afford new garments. Even used clothes are becoming increasingly unaffordable as demand outpaces supply due to FedGov's policies that restrict imports and efforts to boost domestic manufacturing jobs, which automation has been all but eradicated. There isn't much work in this grimy part of town these days. Most employers have been sucked up by mega corporations or shuttered when they couldn't compete with the cloud-based AI that could provide digital labor for pennies on the dollar. But every little bit of income helps. As long as I keep filling out applications, submitting proposals, and networking like crazy, maybe one day things would change for me too. After a long day of fruitless job hunting, I have to hurry to the corner store to buy some food because those earmarked funds are going to be revoked due to inactivity. See, the Fed likes to see high economic velocity. We can't just leave money sitting around idly. At least, I don't have anywhere near the funds that I need to worry about, because if you were in the 1%, you would have negative interest rates. After gathering enough highly processed sustenance for the week, it's time to pay. Gone are the checkout lines of yesteryear. The store's sensors have already tallied up my bill as I place them into the shopping bag. As I approach the locked one-way exit turnstile, there's a momentary pause by my eyeglasses to scan my retina to authorize the payment so I can get past the KYC firewall. The Fed had to implement these a few years back after unscrupulous folks stopped reporting the deaths of their family members so they could spend their stipends. On my way home through a seedier section of the city, one with not many FedGov patrol units, I hear a voice come from the alley. Hello. Psst. Nice groceries. You in the market for some eggs? It sure would be nice to have some non-synthetic protein for once. I take a gander at the man's wares, but my eyeglasses don't display any price, nor could I see his social credit score. Is this guy running cloaking tech? Might be, I respond. How much for a dozen eggs? I'm looking for 50 sats, give or take. Ooh, no. The Fed frowns on unsanctioned currency. I don't have any sats. How many dollars? Sorry, dollars are too risky. I'm an unlicensed merchant. Too many questions from the Fed. They're going to be looking for an excuse to rug pull me. Even if they don't, I can't afford the 20% peer-to-peer tax that they'll take from the transaction. Bitcoin's better. It's not subject to any central bank bullshit. I turn away to consider the options. I bet FedGov would be interested to know about this tax evader, but my eyeglasses suddenly show an alert, outlining the face of a woman who has just walked by. The message scrolls across my field of view. Warrant issued. $50,000 reward. Carla Jennings is wanted by the Fed for engaging in black market exchanges. My pulse quickens. This much money would provide some financial cushion, and it might even be enough for a security pod with a full kitchen. Best not to think too much about this. I accept the gig. Ma'am, I'm sorry, but you need to come with me, as I say as I fish a few zip ties out of my pocket. She runs. Stop right there, I yell, taking up pursuit. She's faster than me because I avoid stepping on FedGov sidewalks. Every step gets logged with a microtransaction toll and deducted from my Fed account in real time. As I'm about to lose sight of her, I do some quick mental math and decide that the toll expense is worth the potential reward. I finally catch up and tackle her on Market Street. I go around to see if anybody's in earshot. Give it up, I whisper. Fuck you, she says back. I have to take control of the situation, so I slip the zip ties around her wrists. She lets out a furious cry as I search her belongings. What do we have here? I exclaim as I pull a thumb-sized circuit board out of her purse. Please don't. Those are my only savings that are safe from the Fed. Bitcoin, huh? I think to myself, man, I sure could have used some sats earlier. But the Feds have already known I detained her. The agents will be here momentarily. They're going to force you to unlock this unauthorized wallet. I can see panic in her eyes. She knows what's going to happen if the Feds can't access her private keys. Years of labor in the data mines for her to pay off the fines. The irony. But I have to stay strong. This is a struggling economy. Little else matters to the Fed, but they need to stop out this sound money in these tough times. Despite it being against my own self-interest, I have little choice but to keep accepting missions to crack down on cryptocurrency so that it can be removed from circulation. Muttering to myself, I turn Carla over to the Fed agents and see a bounty of credit to my account. She sobs and struggles as they haul her away. Yet, I steel myself and imagine the suffering that would occur if this society tries to operate without stable, centralized financial systems. We are all in this together. There's no place for selfishness. While walking home along a convoluted path, to avoid as many FedGov sidewalks as possible, I reflect on how the world has changed over the decades. It's hard to believe that this area, San Francisco, once was the cradle of the cypherpunk movement that spawned cryptocurrency and a strong anti-Fed sentiment. The winds of change left those ideals behind, and FedGov loyalists now control every aspect of society. Privacy and sovereignty are nothing but a distant memory. FedGov has an anti-privacy mandate, outlawing all software and hardware that facilitates cryptocurrency and secure messaging. Even those people who still cling to the past find it difficult to evade being tracked by all of the sensors enabled in every product, every store, every home, and every street. Today's work isn't life-changing, but it'll at least allow me to afford some new clothes. I have to be happy with daydreaming that my federal lottery ticket will win this month. and my universal basic income will be upgraded to individual comfort plus income. This was a story by professional cypherpunk and co-founder and CTO at Casa, Jameson Lopp. A little different than most days, but I think sometimes we just gotta maybe go a little bit outside and start thinking about what is the slippery slope? Where can we end up? What's important to us? Privacy, data? How much do we prioritize security for personal freedoms? How much do we allow corporations into our personal lives? Look at our data. Get into our day-to-day. This kind of tech, this kind of surveillance, these kind of mandates, they're rolling out faster than I think most people think. And a 2033 San Francisco might not be that far off. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed mixing up a little bit today with me. I'll be back tomorrow with more crypto news. And until then, happy hodling, everyone.